Morning, everybody. It's that time of year again. Weather's changing, getting cold out. So I thought perfect time to go over a video on my winter loadout. Same backpack, just with a few extra items. Mostly it's just stuff to help me sleep better because I am planning on doing some winter camping, and I just want to give you guys a full rundown. Most of the stuff that I put in here is stuff to help me sleep better, but I do have the original tools and the original containers and stuff to help cook, boil water, make medicine, all that good stuff. But I do have some extra stuff for my kids, mostly to help me sleep better. So stay with me. We'll get started. All right, real quick, let's go over the contents real quick. I got everything laid out into piles. So the first items are the bags. I always carry with me a haversack of some kind to carry food in, extra items for extra sleep gear, collecting materials out in the wild. So I got my haversack to go with me. This is just the bag that I'll be using, my regular everyday carry bug out bag with the H2O pouch strapped to the back for my water. So that's the bag I'm going to be using. So bags are pretty much the same. Everything that you guys are going to see in this kit is pretty much if you've been following my channel for the last couple of, I guess I've had my channel up since 2019 or 20, you'll see that most of the stuff in this kit is pretty much still the same. So first order, I'm going to go into sleep gear first because that's really what's going to be big. Besides the blanket I'm staying on right now, which is just a regular old moving blanket, I'm also going to take with me 100% wool blanket. This is just a U.S. Army surplus one that I got for Christmas a couple years ago, and I've used it on many camping trips, and it works just fine. So a little extra comfort. Something new to the kit, I actually got this at a Renaissance festival, but inside here I just keep my Schmog. So that's a no-brainer. First aid, filter water, extra warmth, ground mat, all kinds of good stuff. But back to the hide here. This is a raccoon hide that I got at a Renaissance festival. I can use this as a scarf, a hat, or I can even roll it up like this and use it as a pillow. So I'll probably most just use it as my pillow. So got a raccoon hide in here for extra warmth. Hammock system, which I probably won't even use. I'll probably take that out. And in here is, in this bag is just some bank line, some extra cordage, a couple of aluminum tent stakes, and I believe I also have I have a roll of Gorilla Tape in here, and I also have a tent light in here that I got at a camp store. So that's something new. So it's pretty much the same in there, and of course the hammock itself. But again, I might take that out. The shelter system is just a regular everyday Ozark Trail tarp. I have a secondary one like this one. This one is blue. My other one is brown. If you've seen my last video. So that's going to be my shelter system right here. So all this combined here is more than enough to get a good night's sleep. Plus also the clothing on my body, what I'm wearing too. So as long as I'm dressed appropriately and I have a good set of sleep system, this right here is more than enough to see me through the night. Again, the extra items that you'll see in this kit are not little doodads and trinkets, or things that help me sleep better. So that takes care of sleep system. All right, let's dive into tools, because tools is a big part of this. So over here, I have a regular wooden mallet that I'm still going to use for batoning wood with. I am going to swap out this next item, but I still have the Woodsman's Wedgie. It's still fall time, so I'm still going to be using this. When it becomes winter time, I'm going to switch out, and I'm going to switch this out with my regular axe, because with this, I can use this for at least 3 seasons, and with us being in fall, obviously the 3rd season, this has 1 more season left in it, and when wintertime hits, I'm going to switch it out for my regular axe. And I'll show that in a previous video down the road. Cutting tools are still going to be the same. Still got my Bahco Laplander folding saw, but again, I do have a bigger buck saw, which I will switch out. The loadout that you guys are seeing right now is just fall time stuff. When the dead of winter hits, I'm going to be getting bigger tools, so I'll have a bigger saw. So right now, my Bahco Laplander is still good for this season. I keep another open L pocket knife here. This is a whittling knife, pocket knife, whatever you want to call it. I can use this for processing wood. I do a lot of woodworking too, so I'll probably be making utensils or whatever I need to make with this. And obviously, of course, I do have my main belt knife. This is just the Mora Garberg with my sail needle duct taped to the back of it. You can use that for repairs, repairs, first aid. A lot of uses with the sail needle. I can also use it to make I can also use it to make a makeshift compass if I need to. If I happen to lose my compass, which probably won't happen. But then again, you never want to say never, because you never know. But anyways, that's part of the kit. And lastly, of course, is just the Leatherman rebar. I always keep a multi tool with me. And also on my belt here, I also have a old timer pocket knife. This was actually my brother's when he was in the Boy Scouts. I inherited from him. So I have this. This is my main pocket knife. I've had this for about, I think, almost 2 years now, and it's still going strong. So, and that's just on a universal sheath that actually came with another knife that my mom got me for my birthday. So I just adapted the sheath, and it fits in there perfectly. So, all right, that takes care of cutting tools. Now we're gonna move into containers now, because even though it's winter time, we still gotta be able to cook our food, boil water, make medicine, you know, have our morning coffee. You know, it is winter time. You know, hot beverages are key in the winter time. So we're gonna dive into containers. So the first item obviously is gonna be that main bush pot, okay? So my bush pot, all kinds of good stuff. Cooking food, boiling water, making medicine, all kinds of stuff. So in here, I just keep just a couple pieces of fat wood and some jute rope in here. I can use this for extra lashings, or I can use it for a tinder, because jute rope is, because once you break down these little fibers right here, it makes an excellent bird's nest to where it could catch a spark really easy if you're using a ferro rod, or if you're using flint and steel. It'll easily combust as long as it's good and dry. So, and of course, obviously the fat wood, I can make shavings off those and get a fire going easy. So that takes care of tinder. But anyways, so moving on. Water bottle and nesting cup. This is just the clean canteen set. I think it's a 40-ounce water bottle, and the cup is a I believe it's a 10-ounce cup. Yes, 10-ounce cup, because the graduation marker's on the side. So that fits in there perfectly. So got my nesting cup here. Next item is going to be that mess kit for cooking in, and it is a combination. It's a pan itself, and the lid is also a plate. Inside it, I just have a little fire kit here and some first aid stuff. I have some wet fire here. In this Altoids tin, I have a Bic lighter, a small fishing kit, a magnesium bar, and a high carbon steel striker for flint and steel. In this one, I have some char cloth and some extra flint rocks. I have some pain and itch relief liquid medicine. I have some Yuko Stormproof matches. I also have striking matches in here too. I have a ferro rod. I have a ferrocerium rod here. I have a bellow tube, some extra jute rope at the bottom for emergency tinder, and I have a deer antler right here that I can use for. I use that for pressure flaking to sharpen my flint rocks, because over time when you do flint and steel, your flint rocks get really dull, so you need something to sharpen them up with. That's why I have that deer antler there, to keep my flint rocks sharp. That's why I took up. So I do a little. I'm not a professional flint knapper by any means necessary. I just learned how to flint knap, so that way I can sharpen my rocks in the field. Because if your flint rocks go dull, sure, you can maybe pick up an extra one off the ground, but that's kind of a pain. But to me, that's kind of a pain in the butt, because you could be camping in an area where there are no rocks, and if you have a way to keep your flint rocks sharp, you're good to go. Next up for cooking or in containers is going to be a small cutting board and a grill rack. So that right there is, I've had this thing, and the cool thing about this, I can actually close it, and I can actually wedge a stick in between it, and I can actually cook with it like this over an open fire. So I can wedge like a piece of fish in there, or a steak in there if I want to. If I don't want to use my mess kit pan, I can use this to cook a steak in, or I can use it to cook a piece of fish in by just putting the steak in there, or the piece of meat in there, closing it up, getting a stick, wedging it in there, and I can use it like a grill, and I can turn it over from time to time to cook both sides. So that's a dual purpose. All right, and almost lastly is just a regular Kuxla cup. I can never pronounce that word. Let me know in the comments what the proper word is, but I believe it's called a Kuxla cup. I got this from my wife. She got it for me for my birthday. And it's just a regular drinking coffee, drinking water, drinking tea, and if I need to, My nesting cup could also double as a cup too, but I use this as a small pot. And also in here, I almost forgot, but I do have here it is. I have the lid for my cup too, so you got a spare pot. So I use this as an extra pot, but you could drink out of it. It is a nesting cup. So that takes care of that almost takes care of the containers or the cooking aspect. I'll set this out of the way, because wrapped up in my bandana here that you see in my hand, I'm just moving these containers out of the way so that way I have room. Here's my cookware. So I have two different size cooking spoons. I have a large cooking spoon, and I have a small cooking spoon. Over here I also have a coffee spoon, and I have a spatula that I carved. And these 4 tools are tools that I actually carved myself. So this right here is just my regular eating spork here that I eat with. It's 5 tools in one: spoon, fork, can opener, bottle opener, and then I got a little small little dinky knife right there. It's not the best knife. You could cut with it if you had to, but also my Opinel knife also doubles as a good knife for cutting too. Or I could use the pocket knife that I have on my belt here as one too. So I have plenty of cutting tools on me to cut food if I need to. All right, so now we're getting, actually I almost forgot, there is one more thing that goes with the cookware, and that is, in case if I can't get a fire going, I do have a little small stove here with some wet fire to get that going, and that right there is just consumption with my cup. So that goes on there. So that goes on there just like that. Not the best fit because technically this stove came with another cook set that I got a long time ago, but the cup wasn't that good, but the stove was awesome. So I kept the stove, and I got some wet fire there. And you could, and I know that and I know the fact that 2 of these little wet fires that I made, because I make my own fire starters, 2 of these will actually boil a cup of water. So I have that in case I can't get a fire going, or if I'm too lazy in the morning to get a fire going, I just want to cook a cup of coffee and get on the road. I can just fire up this little stove here with some wet fire, make a cup of coffee, and I'm good to go. All right. Now we're getting down to the last of it. Oh, almost forgot, for tools, I also do keep a small sharpener. I forgot to mention that when I was with the tools. I saw that as I was going through the rest of my gear. So I do have a sharpener for keeping my knife sharp in the field. So that's all. All right. And now lastly, even though it's cold out and the water looks good, I want to take the extra chance of keeping that water filtered. Now, of course, obviously, boiling your water is going to be the best way to keep your water clean in the field. But for some unknown reason, if I can't boil water, I do keep some ways to purify water. This right here is actually a way. This is one of those little fish mouths that you use to keep. This is a fish mouth spread that you use to open the mouth of fish, to retrieve your hook, or to hold it up to show it. So I have this. I can actually suspend this. You can use this with my cup. I actually pre-drilled holes into my cup to suspend above a fire. So I just clamp this in here like that. And if I need to, I can suspend my cup above the fire just like that. It also works with my, water bottle. And if I wanted to, I could use it with my bush pot, but it already has that bail on there, so I can just hang that over I just make a tripod, or I can just put it in a bed of coals and I can just hang it over that, or I could use a crane arm. Most time when I'm at the homestead, I'll use a tripod, but usually when I'm out camping, I'll just make a crane arm, or I'll just shove it in a bed of coals. So I have a fish mouth spreader here, and this thing is kind of a pain. For me, it's a pain in the butt to close, but you can do it. Yeah, got it. All right, so that's a fish mouth spreader. I have my regular Sawyer filtration system, and the cool thing with this, I actually cut the straw down so that way it can nest inside the cleaning syringe. So that's in there, and of course got the regular Sawyer straw. So that's my water system, and of course 2% tincture of iodine for disinfecting water, and you could also use this for first aid too. So that takes care of my water disinfection right there. Other than that, but mostly my go-to for disinfecting my water is always going to be to boil it first. I don't carry iodine tablets with me, so I'm either going to boil my water, or I'm going to filter it with a straw, or I'm going to use iodine to disinfect it. Those are my 3 main ways to disinfecting water. And now we're getting down to the last part. I don't have much left now, because now we're getting down to like the most, like, I wouldn't like kind of like the most, like, I want to say like technology part. So I do keep a extra flashlight in here and a headlamp for illumination. Now, when I'm in camp, I'll use my headlamp to so that way it frees up my hands and I can work around camp for hands free. But if I'm hiking into a campsite, I'll use my flashlight, because half the time I don't really even need my hands when I'm hiking in. I just need my feet, so I'll just use a flashlight, and I can just use it. And also I can swing. Also, I can swing through like this, and this thing is really bright too. This thing is really bright. It has SOS and all kinds of good stuff. So does this one too. But again, this is for camp. This is for hiking in. And nextly, I have my everyday cell phone charger. This is a solar powered cell phone charger. You've seen this in my videos a lot. This thing, I can get about 5 or 6 charges out of this bad boy before I have to charge it back up again. It does have a full battery right now. So, and the cool thing is it does have a flashlight system on it, and this thing will actually charge my phone. If my phone is almost on the brink of death, like if it's like at 10% in 30 minutes, if I plug this into this adapter, in like 30 to 40 minutes, my phone will be at like 60-70%. So this thing is a beast. It charges my phone up really fast, and I love it. And that's why it's in my backpack always. Because the main course, the main thing for navigation nowadays is people use their phones, and if you're in an area where you have bad cell phone signal, or if your phone dies, it's pretty much useless. So unless you have like a GPS unit or a compass with you, you're pretty much screwed. I don't carry a GPS unit, but I do carry a regular Suunto MC2 compass with a thermometer gauge on it and an emergency whistle. This compass is multifunctional. It's got a signal mirror on it. It's got a little magnifying lens on it, and it even has a movable declination. So I have it right now. I have it set to north. Okay, so that right there is my compass. And I can use this for first aid, navigation, and I can use the magnification lens to get a fire going too. So this is navigation, first aid, and fire right here. And on top of that, I got my pace count beads attached to it too to keep track of my pace. But I also do, in emergency, I do keep pace count beads on my backpack too. Oh, and I also forgot to mention too, I do keep a small snap link here on the end of it. This is so in case if I need to attach anything I might find out in the field. And I also use it to run the use it as an axe loop to hold my axe into place, and I have the straps where I can buckle those up like this to hold my axe in place. And I've done that before. I've done it with my tomahawk, and I'm going to do it with my axe too. All right, and lastly, all I have left is just a pair of heavy-duty work gloves. If you notice, I don't have my grill gloves in here anymore because they're pretty much they're decaying and they're starting to break up. So I went ahead and just took those out and replaced them with a good pair of heavy-duty work gloves. And also in the wintertime, I failed to mention that I do wear extra gloves in the wintertime. So I do have a pair of 100% wool gloves, so I will be wearing those. But as you can see, the stuff you guys seen, most of it, if you follow my channel, you've seen the majority of the stuff. I stick to the same stuff. I'm not one of these gurus that goes out and gets new gear all the time. I find what I need, and if it works for me, it works. I don't go overboard. And everything that you see listed here is stuff that I pretty much plan on using pretty much for like the long term. But there are times where I will have to switch out gear and I will have to add new gear as the seasons change, believe me. Like I said, when it does get wintertime, I am going to switch out the Woodsman's Wedgie for an actual camp axe for splitting firewood, and I'm also going to use I'm going to switch out the Bahco Laplander for a bigger saw too, because in the wintertime you want more advanced gear, or bigger gear like saws and axes to process wood faster, because you don't want to use as much you don't want to sweat too much. Alrighty, well, here's the layout. Everything from the sleep system, the bags, the tools, the cookware, taking care of disinfection of water, and the technology, of course. And of course, the blanket that it's all laying on is just my little moving blanket here. Oh, and also I forgot to mention my bandana could also double as either charred material. If I need to make charred material, I can also use it for first aid, and I can also use it to stay warm at night too. Well, not so much warm, but I could wrap it around my neck to protect my neck from the cold if I need to. So here it is, all laid out for you guys to see. Let me know what you think of my winter loadout.